Good evening, I'm Kevin Owen. This is RT International coming to you live, and we're starting with this. This is the view of the sky above the eastern Ukrainian city of Slavyansk last night. Its residents woke up to what they claim were incendiary bombs being dropped on their heads. That is a weapon banned by the UN, and Kiev denies its use. But here's what local residents told RT International.
We all saw what happened here yesterday. They used rocket launchers as well as incendiary bombs against us. The ground was on fire. How can the ground burn by itself? It burned for about 40 minutes.
Starting from 2 a.m., everyone I've met has a sore throat and is coughing all the time. I think this is because of the burning. I think we'll feel the true consequences later. There are still a lot of people here, a lot of children we haven't managed to get out yet.
I spoke to Charles Shoebridge. He's a former army and intelligence officer. He says this attack bears all the signs of white phosphorus use.
I've seen the video, I've looked at it closely. It does indeed tally with what one might say are the hall signs, the hallmarks of white phosphorus use. For example, a very bright light burning and multiple burns. Coming down from the sky, it's an airburst weapon that's been used, such as a mortar or perhaps from an aircraft. And then, of course, again, the telltale still burning in videos that I've seen in the daytime, showing actually this very telltale white grey smoke. So white phosphorus being used, it's an alarming development. Of course, it needn't necessarily be illegal, but it depends on the usage concerned. And that's exactly why, of course, Lavrov and indeed others, and indeed people even from the West should be, even if they haven't so far, should be calling for a proper and full investigation of this incident to prevent it escalating.
Slavyansk itself is, of course, an industrial city with a population of over 100,000 people. It's been a focal point of the government's crackdown on dissent. It's been under regular artillery fire for weeks now. Russia's submitted a resolution to the UN Security Council calling for an end to the violence and an investigation into the use, maybe, of banned weapons here.
It calls on all the parties to refrain from actions endangering the lives and security of the civilian population, civilian infrastructure, and humanitarian goods. It calls on them to immediately end violence and agree to a sustained ceasefire. In fact, we also have a reference, a new disturbing phenomenon. There is news, there are reports about the use of white phosphorus munition in the course of fighting by the Ukrainian side, and we believe that there should be international attention.
Charles Shoebridge again, describing for us the dangers of white phosphorus.
It will burn right through somebody's body, right to the bone. And also white phosphorus cannot be put out by use of water. It needs sand or some other material to actually suffocate it from burning, to cut off the oxygen supply. There is a problem as well if there was going to be large amounts used. It is also a poison. For example, it can be used, or large amounts of it might be said to contaminate water supplies and so on, but it would take quite a lot of it being used in those circumstances. It's mainly a question that this is, if it's indiscriminate use in urban areas, as appeared to be the case last night, again, it needs proper investigation, then this may well be unlawful. But in any case, it's a startling development of a fearsome weapon, whether it's strictly banned or not in these circumstances. And there were similar arguments over the Israelis' use of it in Gaza, for example. That is an escalation of this war, and a war that's involving civilian casualties.